While located only about 10 miles north of Cadillac, Emerald Vale feels very much like a rustic, rural destination. It's the type of place, for example, where the bar and the clubhouse occupies far more square footage than the golf merchandise. In an odd match, this environment is paired with a Bruce Matthews III design built in 1997. Think Hidden River in Brutus or Angels Crossing in Vicksburg. His courses tend to skew towards the higher end of golf experience. The course sits on interesting land with a generous amount of movement. The routing on both the front and back nines first heads into a pine forest, capturing a truly up-north feel, before heading back into more open, rolling land, offering the occasional view across the property. This effect would be more pronounced and better if pine trees had not been added to fill in space between holes. Emerald Vale features a routing that uses the land well and combines impressive bunkering and some containment mounding to frame every approach shot. Containment mounding is often used in golf designs to try and force interest on land that is otherwise uninteresting, but it's not so overdone here, and it's hard to deny that the course is visually impressive. Strategically, there were no poorly designed or frustrating holes, although none were especially memorable or compelling in their design either. It's a very straightforward design that hovers somewhere between fine and really good, and heavily relies on visuals, pine forest, and the occasional downhill par 3 to capture the aforementioned up-north feel. I paid $60 to play on a Friday morning in June, and I can't honestly say if that is a good value or not. The course was in very poor shape, with many portions of the greens featuring moss or cracked and burnt turf. The tee boxes and parts of the fairway featured more clover than grass. It had the conditioning of a $30 to $40 course. Were it nicely maintained, however, a design like this, in a location this close to Cadillac, might be an $80 round. I'm not sure where exactly this course fits in the Michigan golf landscape. For a golf design enthusiast, I wouldn't put this on the list of must-see destinations. If you have a fun group to play with, however, you could easily have a blast around this course. It really straddles the line of so many different golf course metrics, but doesn't excel in any of them. The highlights at Emerald Vale include pretty much all of the holes that run through the pine forest. The dogleg par 5 second has a nicely framed green site. The par 4 third runs back in the opposite direction along the pines. The 10th hole, with a green site that sits on a hill and is framed by an old red barn, might be the most memorable hole. The par 3 12th features a downhill drop shot to the green, while holes 13 through 15 all play through the trees. The stretch of holes 10 through 15 is probably the peak of the round. Formerly known as Bear Lake Highlands, Wolf River Golf Park is a bold redesign featuring recontoured greens, thoughtful bunker placement, and a single-cut fairway program that provides plenty of width, options, and textures across the course. I've written extensively about this course, but once again, the golf course manager and superintendent who conceived of this renovation, Steven Biehl, deserves all of the credit in the world. With a large group in tow, it was interesting to see how each player received the course. The uniqueness of the course can make it polarizing, I believe, for first-time visitors. Our group consists of many different levels of golfers with different expectations, so the feedback I received ranged from "it wasn't bad" to "it was a lot of fun" to "I really liked it." Only a random bartender we talked to in Beulah thought it was bad, saying they ruined the course by taking trees out or something or other. My only regret was waiting for him to walk away before declaring to the table that that was the worst golf opinion I'd ever heard. After seeing the course for the first time and shooting my best score ever, I did worry that perhaps the course was a little too easy. In my second attempt, it was clear that I was underselling how well I had played the course in 2024. Despite the large fairways, getting out of position quickly leads to escalating penalties. Playing from the proper position, on the other hand, yields numerous fun chances at scoring. It's a beautiful place to play on a nice June evening and very accommodating for a group of 28. The only real complaint was that the Applebite tee system can be confusing, as the tips and the one-ups look very similar. As a group destination, it will be even better once the putting course, to be known as the Wormholes, is completed. The course has been grassed with a hoped-for opening date this fall. It could be one of the wildest, most elevated putting courses I've seen to date. Many small but thoughtful features to make it a great hangout spot have gone into the design, and I can't wait to see the finished product. The highlight stretch to me is holes 7 through 9. The 7th features a downhill tee shot, but a relatively flat green site, so the addition of a lion's mouth bunker around a mound in the green makes for an interesting short game area. The best hole to me is still the par 4 8th, with a wonderful roller coaster ride of a fairway, culminating in an ambitious green design. Followed by the downhill par 3 9th, these two holes have the best views on the property. Last year I generally liked the holes on the west side of the property better, but I must admit that playing on a bright sunny evening this year, the receding sunlight across the east side of the property was quite delightful, if albeit a little hard to see into on the 16th hole. If you haven't seen Wolf River yet, it's an easy recommendation from me. Go play it. This was my 4th time playing Pinecroft. It has always been a property that I thought had some interesting land movement, some narrow glimpses of some Great Lake views from certain spots on the course, and maybe a problem with being overcrowded by trees. I don't know if it was the trees, soggy conditions in past years, or just not playing well there, but I've always had an uncertain feeling about where I would rank this course. This year we played it in sunny, warm weather as a growing breeze whipped us around as we progressed through our round. Perhaps the conditions did the trick, bugs aside, because it was my most enjoyable round at Pinecroft to date. Sharing an owner and designer in Lee Stone, it's hard not to compare this course to Champion Hill. Pinecroft doesn't have the land, views, or overall fun factor that Champion does, but it may not be a fair comparison with such different properties. When the conditions are a little drier like this year, I think that is when the course presents itself the best. The greens were in the best condition I've seen them, the unmaintained areas weren't too thick to find balls or play out of, and the wind really brought out the challenge of navigating the proper path to what can be challenging greens. That hasn't always been the case during soggier trips in years past. It's probably not a destination on its own, but it is a worthy add-on to any trip in the area to see Champion Hill, Arcadia, or Wolf River. It may be a sneaky match play course too, not because it necessarily has a lot of risk-reward holes, but because it asks a lot of different questions of you throughout the round, and momentum can swing on a dime at any point. The par 4 5th hole is a highlight, a short hole with the beauty of a green site. It's one of the most photogenic areas of the course, despite not having the lake views of the higher elevations on the property. The stretch of holes 10 through 12 also has a ton of potential. With a punishing headwind, the 11th hole was practically unreachable as a par 4. Turning around to face the 12th, the green looks impossibly far away through the trees. The strong tailwind, however, made it a riot to tee it high and let it fly. My only wish is that you could see the land movement through this unique valley, as it's absolutely choked with trees. The view from the 16th green is unmatched, but the short 15th hole has been growing on me over the years. To me, this is the ideal presentation of the course, with exposed sandy areas and a lone tree near the fairway dictating play. More of these sandy areas, and keeping selective trees to influence play, would skyrocket this place up the rankings. That's not to say, of course, that Pinecroft seeks, or should seek, a claim in the rankings. It fills its role in the state nicely for those in the know.
Forward! Forward! Come on. Nice shot. Craig, you asshole.